Movie. What is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word a movie? It's like we all need a break and we all love movies. But for people like me, I love movies, but I can't go out with my two toddlers to watch a movie. But for everyone else, I think, it's like, yippee, we are going out. We are going out to watch a movie and we all love a break. And we all watch and see things that resonates with us. So subconsciously, I feel that whenever we go and watch a movie, we try to envision a character and start relating ourselves to that character, and then we become the hero or maybe the villain of that movie. And in today's world, when we don't do even a single thing without a review, how can we watch a movie without a review? So, hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Renaissance with Swati. And today I have with me the famous film critic and the co founder of his own venture, Popcorn Reviews, Farhad Dalal. Hi, Farhad, how are you?
Hi, Swati. I don't know about famous, but thank you so much for inviting me here. And thank you. I'm happy to be here. First time ऐसे कुछ हम लोग का भी इंटरव्यू हो रहा है so and
Okay. Okay. So, Farhad, before we start, I would like to say a few lines about you. Farhad Dalal is a biomedical engineer by qualification, and he worked as an IT professional in TCS before quitting. And it was my pleasure to work with Farhad, although for a very short duration of time, it was wonderful, Farhad. So during
my
COVID,
pleasure
when it
too.
started in 2020, we all were locked inside our homes. And at that time, Farhad established a new venture and became the co-founder of Popcorn Reviews. He loves writing and analyzing films, which drove him to start his own YouTube channel and his own website with the name Popcorn Reviews. So, Farhad, your journey has been amazing, from a biomedical student to starting your own venture and becoming famous so soon. I've seen some of your episodes and it's really wonderful. You're really charming on the screen. It's marvelous. So, would you like to tell something more about yourself?
Firstly, a very bad example of biomedical engineer, bad example of IT professional, but good example of critic, I would say. So actually, I would like to take you a little back. I've always, been a fan of cinema right from the time I was a toddler. And
Okay.
So how did we start? It was that I'll get to the film writing part. That it was like I think on the onset of Facebook in say 2009 or 10, I used to watch films and just write one word reviews of it on
Wow.
Facebook. It started with that.
Oh,
Then it upgraded to one line reviews. Then it upgraded to one paragraph reviews. Then
nice.
in 2016 it was that I wrote like four paragraphs basically.
Oh,
It
wow.
wasn't a very detailed review, but
Kind
that
of an
time I thought
article.
it was like, yeah, it was
Yeah.
such a detailed, review I've written, but it was just four paragraphs. So I had started with my own hashtag on Facebook called Farhad Movie Reviews at that point of
Okay.
time
Okay.
in
Okay.
2016.
Okay.
Then from Facebook, it upgraded to Instagram in 2017. And then I was just going on, it's not as passionate. I was doing it right now.
Right.
Right now it's almost
Okay.
like a job as well, right? So, but that time it was just weekend to weekend and only
Right.
Hindi films I used to cover.
Okay.
Then I started, discovering world cinema from across India also, other than Hindi. I used to first
Mm-hmm.
only watch Hindi, review Hindi, and
Mm-hmm.
rarely watch other languages. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
English also used to watch, but
Okay.
not review
Okay.
so much.
Okay. Okay.
Then came the lockdown, and all of us were in our,
Locked.
homes. Yeah.
Right.
So in 2020, I was still continuing, like that time I was, discovering cinema and putting out reviews even for other languages. And my co-founder Harsh, that is the Harsh
Mm-hmm.
Doshi,
Okay.
he reached out to me I'm talking of June of 2020. He
Okay.
said that,
Okay.
why don't we make a site for you? I said, yeah, no, I don't have the time for the site. We are
Right.
working as well at
Right.
that point. Yeah.
Right.
I said, no, don't have time for
Right.
site. I'll just continue with the way I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you have to do nothing. Leave all the, bhag dod to me, all the arrangements and logistics to me, and you can just do what you're doing today, which is obviously not true in the long run, but that is how we started it.
Okay.
So
That's
the
nice.
the amount of reviews that we've done, remember the
Mm-hmm.
hashtag that I talked about?
Mm-hmm.
That
Right.
was the tracing board for us to collate all the
Right.
reviews, so we
Right.
could do it
Right.
with that hashtag. Luckily, I had done that,
Nice.
and so we collated all that
Mm-hmm.
over period. Then,
Mm-hmm.
we said that, we'll launch it in August. But
Okay.
in August, he got COVID, and it was very
Oh,
serious. That
oh,
time
oh.
there was
Right.
no
No
vaccine at that
vaccine.
point.
Right, right, right,
So
right.
yeah, so then thankfully he recovered. I said, you take your time. We'll,
Mm-hmm.
resume
Of
once you're
course, of
done.
course.
Then
Right.
once you resume, we thought, is another date. Let's see which is the date that is coming. He said
Mm.
Dasera is a nice date in October.
Right,
Mirzapur 2 was
right.
also coming. It's coming 3
Okay,
right now. That time
okay.
Mirzapur 2 was
Right,
coming.
right.
But we were not ready with the site. We were still doing the designs and everything, and
Right,
it wasn't ready basically. Then we
right.
said now Diwali is the new time, November
Okay.
2020. And that time we were like,
Right.
yeah, I think we should go ahead with it. No matter how underprepared
Hmm.
we are or how raw we
Right.
are,
At least take
let's
your
just
first
launch
step.
the site. Take the first
Exactly.
step and just launch it.
Right,
So
right.
that is when we launched it with the review of Lakshmi that was there of Akshay Kumar that had come on Hotstar by the way directly.
Okay,
So
okay.
that is our journey. We took a 6-day period of marketing and seeing something
Right,
brewing and
right.
just
So
putting
I
out
can
filters about what.
understand.
And
Taking your
yeah,
first step, it is very difficult. You think, are you prepared enough? Am I prepared enough to do
yeah,
something like this? Just put myself out there in the world. Am I ready?
absolutely,
And we're never ready. If we think like that, we're never ready. We have to
exactly.
take that step. So that's
So if
wonderful.
if you we wouldn't have taken that step now, it still would not have materialized basically.
Of
So that
course, of
taking that first
course.
step is so important,
Right,
no matter how
right,
underprepared you are, and then
right,
learn on the job as well, which we did. There were so many highs and lows that were there after
right.
that.
Of
More
course, of
lows to
course.
begin with than
Of
highs.
course, of course. No, I
We're
can
hanging in there.
truly relate.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're so famous. So,
No famous.
does living in Mumbai also contribute you to become a cinema fan?
Oh, it's a little debatable. I don't think a city would matter so much, but at the same time, Mumbai is the hub, of
It's right.
Bollywood, you can say, of the
Bollywood,
Hindi
yeah.
film industry. So in that regard, it gave me a start, if, for example, if I have to do some networking or something, which I
Mm-hmm.
do regularly,
Right,
that
right.
helps. In
Okay,
that
okay,
regard, it helps, to spread the word.
okay.
Other than that, you can be a cinephile, you can be a reviewer in any part of the world, and I think it would be the same. But if you are in the city, it is an
Mm-hmm.
added advantage
Of
in terms of
course.
networking if you're doing, in terms of the
Mm-hmm.
people that you're making, because the core industry is here, at least the Hindi film
Yeah,
industry is what I'm
exactly,
talking about, not the
exactly.
others.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps definitely. Yeah.
So, like you said, that initially you started with only Hindi movies, and later on you started reviewing different languages movies also. So, did you find it difficult to review other languages? Because English, of course, we have all studied, but then the other languages, the Indian languages also, those movies are so famous right now, but we have not studied them in school. So, initially, did you face any challenge reviewing any other language movie, or was it okay?
No, so have you watched the film Parasite actually? The
I
Korean
told
film
you, right?
Parasite?
With my two toddlers, now
Film.
I do not get
No,
time
but
to
it's a
watch movies.
2019 film basically. So it's a Korean film that
Okay,
had won the
okay,
Best Picture Academy Award, and the
okay,
director of
okay.
Parasite had come up and said that if you can overcome the barrier, the 2-inch barrier of the subtitles, then there is a whole new world or whole new set of films that are waiting for you to be discovered. So I think that was
That's an
the
interesting
watershed
perspective.
moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
watershed moment. Of course, I used to watch
Mm-hmm,
my world cinema introduction,
mm-hmm,
started in 2017. It
mm-hmm,
started in, some of the colleagues that
mm-hmm.
were there, they were into
Right,
world cinema,
right,
Gaurav and
right.
Adnan. So they introduced me to that at an earlier point.
Mm-hmm,
I wasn't doing so
right.
much English films. And so there were
Mm-hmm.
people that, contributed to that at
Of
various points. And
course,
coming
of
to the
course.
question that was there, is it difficult? No, I don't think it's difficult. I mean, I'm pretty
Mm-hmm,
well versed with
mm-hmm,
following films with subtitles that are there. English subtitles is the one, that I
mm-hmm,
usually watch the
mm-hmm,
films with, other than the ones that I know, the languages
mm-hmm,
that I know. And yeah,
mm-hmm.
I think in terms of the palette, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, because the cinema across the world is very different from the
Of
kind of cinema
course,
that is served here. It's
of
very
course,
different.
of course.
And
Very
it's more
true.
challenging. I
Mm-hmm,
mean, cinema. as an art form, I feel it isn't for everybody, in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that it is not only meant for entertainment. Here,
Mm-hmm.
cinema
Mm-hmm.
is looked upon as a medium only for entertainment. It can be a
Mm-hmm.
medium for movement. It can be a medium to raise important issues. It can be a challenging medium to put across a point that is
Yeah, that's
complex in
true.
nature,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that is what I think world cinema, when I opened to world cinema, I
Mm-hmm.
started with the
Mm-hmm.
Korean films that are there. That's much more
Mm-hmm.
palatable in terms of the Southeast Asia culture
Okay.
that is a
Okay.
little
Okay.
similar to the ones.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
started
Mm-hmm.
with that and then
Mm-hmm.
ventured into other complex areas. I think
Nice.
the European films
Nice.
are very complex. So in terms
Okay.
of that, I would
Okay.
say it was a little difficult to adjust to get
Mm-hmm.
an acquired taste for
Mm-hmm.
international films that
Mm-hmm.
are there.
Mm-hmm.
Non-English is what I'm talking
Right.
about.
Right.
But watching the films with
Mm-hmm.
subtitles was never an issue for me.
Okay. That's really nice. So, if we start from your journey from the beginning, you were always passionate about cinema, but still you did your biomedical engineering and landed up in IT, like we all do, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. So,
personally,
yeah.
did you like being a biomedical engineer? Because I was a biotechnology student and I really loved, reading and learning about human body.
So you know how you're programmed, right? You have to either be a doctor or an engineer. And I
Of
was
course, of
fortunately
course.
or unfortunately a very good student in school.
Oh,
I used to
okay,
always
nice.
be one, two, at most three,
Mm-hmm.
should always a topper in the class, that
Nice.
sort of a
Right,
background I had. At
right,
the same
right.
time, my journey of cinema also started very early, when I was 3 years old. I remember my
Yeah.
grandmom, she's not with us now, but my grandmom,
Mm-hmm.
mummy's mummy, she coaxed my mother into saying, "You take him for a film, na? What happened? Let's see how he reacts to that."
Right,
And
right.
mommy took me, and I was only 3 at that time, and there was an animated film that we had watched in Bombay itself. And mommy tells me I have no memories of it, but mommy tells me that unlike other kids who keep running around, I was sitting and concentrating on the film, which made her believe that yeah, I was a film buff as
Of
well.
course, of
And I was
course.
always fascinated by stories, stories that my grandmom used to tell me. So stories
Mm-hmm.
were a fascinating point
Wow.
of view,
Right,
whether it was
right.
from reading from books or I'm not
Mm-hmm.
fond of reading so much, but listening to
Mm-hmm.
stories was fun.
Right,
And
right.
then when listening became a audio visual video with cinema,
Mm-hmm.
with
Right,
movies, I
right,
think that
right.
was so that was my journey, parallel journey with cinema along with a student.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was a good student, I took
Then you
science.
landed
That
up in
led to
bio.
engineering. Yeah, that led to engineering, biomedical. Biomedical because I wanted a college near to my home and a
Okay,
good college near
okay,
to my home.
okay.
And my score wasn't as high as it should have been in CET.
Mm-hmm.
So in that space, I was
Mm-hmm.
getting a couple of other fields
Mm-hmm.
other than
Mm-hmm.
biomedical. I said biomedical when I got to know the curriculum at that point,
Mm-hmm.
it was a
Mm-hmm.
mixture of everything. It is unlike what the name suggests that only it has
Mm-hmm.
bio. No, it
It is
has little
bio.
bit of everything. It has
Okay.
electronics also. It has
Okay.
telecommunication part
Okay.
also. It
Okay.
has IT
Okay.
also. There are different facets in that, along with bio.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I wouldn't say bio is not there at all. It is there.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
So
It's
that
basically a
prompted me to,
mixture of biology with, different technologies. How can we
yeah,
move
correct,
from human body only to,
mm,
providing healthcare services, building machines
correct,
out for those particular
correct.
diseases
Machines
and so
is
on.
one part
Right.
of it.
Right.
One part of it. It's a larger umbrella basically in which there
Mm-hmm.
are different
Mm-hmm.
variations, you can say, under that. So I thought, yeah, this seems interesting enough. And I wanted to get into IT at
Mm-hmm.
that point, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a score for IT. So, and I would have otherwise opted for another college far away, which I didn't want to, right?
Okay.
Spending time
Okay.
traveling in
Okay.
college, I
Right.
never
Of
wanted.
course. Of course.
So that, prompted me to take biomedical, and it was a good 4 years that I had, until,
Mm-hmm.
I got placed,
Right.
in an IT company.
Right. Right.
And yeah, that's
That's
how
nice.
I changed fields to IT, and then from there to,
Right. I also heard that, you're a big cricket fan. So do you write or
yeah,
blog about cricket as well? Because, India at least have so many cricket fans. And I think across the world right now, cricket is just in. So do you write and blog about cricket? Do you analyze cricket as well?
I like analyzing cricket, But and many people have told me you should write on cricket on your site,
Mm-hmm.
popcorn reviews. Why are you not writing? But it's
Mm-hmm.
a different domain at the end of the day, which is
Of
why I don't want to
course.
mix things. But I love analyzing the game. I know I love reading the situation that is there.
Mm-hmm.
Love reading
Mm-hmm.
the conditions that are there. Cricket also
Mm-hmm.
started, very early on, like cinema. That
Right.
started with both my grandfathers that were there, Dadaji,
Mm-hmm.
Nanaji. Both of them were fanatics,
Mm-hmm.
cricket fanatics, and
Mm-hmm.
started watching with them, developed interest in the game, then started playing, in my like how
Nice.
other kids
Of
do as
course.
well.
Gully
Uh,
cricket. Yeah.
Gully cricket. So cricket
Right.
and cinema were integral part of my life right from the beginning.
Nice.
Surprisingly, I was a good student apart from doing all
No, that
this.
happens. That
But
happens. But somewhere
yeah,
your
so
calling always pulled you towards being,
yeah.
even
So then
though
it
you are a
yeah. So
meritorious student, but your calling is in cinema or maybe
yeah, but
cricket.
क्रिकेट के लिए तो देरी हो गई थी ना, अभी क्या करें? थर्टी
You
थर्टीज
can
में तो
start it,
क्रिकेट
people
you can
start new things
analyze
when
it
they're 50
definitely, but I'm
also.
talking of playing. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
of playing
yeah.
and all,
Right.
professionally that way. उसके लिए late हो गया है. So,
Right.
other than that, but yeah, but I love watching cricket
Mm-hmm.
also,
Mm-hmm.
and reading about the game. I'm a purist also by that logic,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind my T20 format,
Mm-hmm.
but test match is very interesting for me. The
Right.
situations that
Right.
the
Right.
test matches throws you, it's
Of
almost
course.
parallel to life. And there's so much that I've learned from the game of cricket as well
Okay.
as cinema as well, which I implement, even if it means in terms of leadership, or if it means generally about the way life functions,
Mm-hmm.
when things aren't going well, how to just hang on to things, just fight it out there.
Okay.
And there will be a time when there will be a half volleys thrown at you in which you just have to drive and start scoring runs
That's a
basically.
really nice insight. I
Yeah.
never thought that, a movie or a cricket can help myself in my career, in my leadership journeys
So
also.
that is where test match comes in, where
Okay.
you don't lose until the last wicket is fallen. You can draw a test match if you can't win
Right.
it, but
Right.
need not necessarily lose it. So that's the
Hmm.
biggest takeaway
Right.
from life, that you don't give up. Just hang in there. Things will turn out well. Just have to
Nice.
negotiate that tough period,
Nice.
and things
Of
will work
course.
out. And in terms of cinema, of course, you get insights about the culture. I'm a very big culture
Mm-hmm.
fan, I must
Mm-hmm.
say. And I love culture of different countries, love studying
Mm-hmm.
them, how all of us are,
Hmm.
different but same in that same space, how the political
Right.
situations are
Right.
same, how people are same, how their
Mm-hmm.
tastes are same, similar, you can say, not same,
Mm-hmm.
but similar.
Mm-hmm.
So cinema is the first medium of, getting a sneak peek into the culture of a country, basically.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
that
Yeah,
way,
right.
I think
Otherwise, we are
that,
just
is
restricted.
enlightening. Yeah, we are. And it helps you open your mind. Why do we
Right.
say you're a well-read person? Because either you read well or you watch a lot
Yeah,
of
of
things, which,
course. Of
broadens
course.
your horizon, I would say. So that is the thing.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I can understand. If I read a lot of books, and when I
Yeah.
read, I get to know about a lot of things that if
It
I
gives you
close my mind, I
perspective.
will never. Yeah, it gives us perspective.
It gives
Similar
you
with
perspective.
movies.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because how Bollywood works or how other cultures work is entirely different. And when we open up our minds to those, and like you said in the beginning, that movies have certain focus areas in their mind, right? It is not only
Yeah.
entertainment, they have a
Hmm.
notion or a message that they want to pass. And when you broaden your
Correct.
horizons and you watch movies from everywhere in the world, then you get to know the culture, you get to know what kind of problems or struggles they faced, their revolutions, and how it shaped
Absolutely.
up what we are today.
Even the
Right.
storytelling techniques that are there, simple thing like storytelling techniques, how each industry is different. Like, for example, the Telugu film industry is more in the massy space. They like their heroes to be larger than life. The Malayalam film industry is totally opposite, very grounded stories, very
Okay. Okay.
stories associated with the roots. Bollywood
Mm-hmm.
is somewhere in the middle. It is trying to find its new identity now
Right.
at the moment. So
Right.
these are different facets, of the same industry. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the benefits that, of a country like India is that there are many cultures.
Of
Many
course.
cultures bring about many industries,
Right.
many films that are
Right.
there.
Right.
And
Right.
so therefore, it gives a sneak peek into different cultures while sitting at my
Right.
little home.
Nice. So, how do you choose a movie to review? Do you go and watch every movie, or are there things like you have that, I will review this particular movie today?
So earlier, as I said, I used to watch only Hindi. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then review only Hindi, watch
Mm-hmm.
maybe others also.
Mm-hmm.
Then slowly,
Right.
slowly started discovering. But at the
Mm-hmm.
moment, I'm a very greedy person that way. I don't like to lose out on any cinema that is there, good or bad. So I
Right.
watch
Right.
everything, whatever comes. So basically, my thought process is that I have to cover all the new releases that are
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's theatrical, whether it's on OTT, series as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not
Oh,
only
series
films,
as
but
well.
series
Nice.
series as well. One area that I'm lacking in is international series. I think that is one thing that I
Okay.
haven't quite been
You're
able
right
to
now into
crack.
Indian
International
series.
series. I'm
Okay.
more into Indian series and, of course, world cinema in terms of films. I watch all across the world, but
Okay. Okay. Okay.
international series, I think, because they are slightly longer than the usual stipulated time that is
For
there. So
example, Bridgerton is very in right now. The latest season just
Bri-
got released.
I haven't watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, and
Yeah.
that's one more reason also, by the time I started getting into this, there were many shows that were into their third season, second
Right. Right.
season.
Right. Of
So
course.
you're
Of
always playing
course.
catch up, basically. So
Right.
rarely
Of
I do
course.
watch,
Of
like I
course.
watched Baby Reindeer recently, which was
Mm-hmm.
excellent series. I watched
Mm-hmm.
Squid Game. I watched, what else have I watched? Boiling Point. There's a show that is a
Okay.
Boiling Point,
Okay. Nice.
which
Nice.
is on the lines of the bear, basically, in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So such shows like Money Heist also. Yeah, I've watched
Okay.
that.
Money Heist has
But
been so
it's
famous. So, did you review
very
Money Heist?
famous. Yeah, I have from, I think it was season 2 or season 3 onwards I did review. But I
Mm-hmm.
did
Okay.
watch the earlier parts
Okay.
before that.
Okay.
And that was because of the excitement around me,
Right.
people were talking
Right.
about. I said, yeah, we have to do it.
No, that's really nice, and the way
So the
cinema
famous
has
ones I do pick.
changed. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the
yeah, yeah.
famous ones I do pick from international part, but other than that, other than that, all films, all languages, on a particular weekend, anything that comes my way, I
Mm,
happen to watch it. Unfortunately, sometimes there are,
mm,
restrictions in terms of the content releasing in theaters.
mm,
All films do not, India is a country which produces a lot of films
right,
but doesn't have
right.
many theaters.
But
There are
today with
only
OTT
10,000.
coming in, the scenario
OTT
is
is one
changing.
space, but
Right.
I think one of the reasons if you have
Mm-hmm.
to support cinema is by watching it in a theater. As far
Mm,
as possible, I do that. I follow that because it doesn't, affect the major
of
industries too
course.
much, like the Telugu film industry, Hindi. If you don't watch it, also it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there would be other people, but
Mm-hmm.
the smaller industries that are there, they require a lot of support, like
Okay.
Malayalam film industry
Mm-hmm.
or say Gujarati film industry, Marathi film
Okay.
industry. These,
Okay.
thrive on the
Okay.
theatricals and they don't get a
Oh,
good OTT deal normally.
okay.
So I
Mm-hmm.
make it a point, if I can, if it
Mm-hmm.
permits, if there are subtitles that are there, that's
Of
another
course.
problem.
Of
By the way,
course.
subtitles
Right.
aren't there everywhere,
Subtitles are
but
should be there, right?
whenever they are there, I
Mm-hmm.
do happen to, venture and
Watch it.
watch the film in the
So
theater.
you watch it
Yeah,
in the
in a
theater.
theater.
Nice. That's
As
really
far as
nice.
possible. And if
Mm.
not, then definitely when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
OTT,
Mm-hmm.
I do happen to catch it and write about it also. It's important to write about it.
That's really nice. And in a way, you are promoting world culture. You're promoting,
Yeah,
Vasudev Kutumbakam, that a world is a family. So
it
by
is. It
what
is.
by
Yeah.
watching and seeing different movies, by analyzing, by promoting it to different people through your reviews, that is a good movie.
That
Because
is the
I
whole
saw,
point, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one thing that you posted recently after the elections, right? That there was one movie from some other language, not Hindi, but it was related to the elections and how this time the
The
elections fared.
Malayalam one it was.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
The
So
Malayalam.
basically, you're
So it's
spreading, you're
amazing.
relating. Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing how the situation still remains the same over a period of time. You know,
right.
people can come and go, but the situations are, it's for everyone to see that it remains the
Of
same.
course,
So if
of
there is
course.
some change that is
Right.
needed, then it needs to be, initiated or that way. Anyway, so that's a separate topic, political.
No,
But
but I did.
the point
Yeah.
being that it gets a good comparison, at least that is there.
No, that is really a nice thing. And I've seen it. It is very rare that, people relate their reviews with something as a message, that this movie is related to this particular scenario going on, and this has this particular message, and that is the reason you should go out and watch it. And that is really important, to promote such things.
Yeah, and I feel reviews are basically what is it? It's a storytelling medium
Of
actually.
course,
You
of
have to
course.
engage the viewers with analysis. Today, it's a very scattered medium,
Mm-hmm,
unfortunately, I have to say.
mm-hmm.
With the onset of social media, everyone has opinions. Now you have to distinguish between whether you are an opiniator or you are a reviewer. What is the
What is the
difference between
difference?
the two?
Yeah.
Opiniator is that if you watch a film and you come out
Mm-hmm,
and say, this is good,
mm-hmm,
acting is
mm-hmm,
good, story is not
mm-hmm,
good,
mm-hmm,
this could have been better,
mm-hmm,
on those lines. The
right,
reviewer will tell
right.
you why it is good, why it did not work for you, and this is an individual opinion.
Of course.
Opinions are, you are creating an opinion for an entire mass generation that is there. You're trying to do that via social media. So many people are
Right,
opinionators on
right.
the net, on social media today, but not many are reviewers, unfortunately, which is why, reviewers like me, or, some who are
Mm-hmm,
actually doing a good job
mm-hmm,
and analyzing the
right,
film
right.
get lost somewhere. So I
No,
don't
but
know about being
that's
famous
my
that you said,
question.
so
You
that
are,
may not entirely
see,
be
I
true.
saw your YouTube channel and I saw the way you post and the number of subscribers you have in such a short amount of time. You are famous, right? So, any tips for newbies like us, who are venturing into social media on how to grow their followership, how to become famous so soon?
Firstly, you have to be serious about it. Firstly, let's get to the beginning. I think first step would be that whether the domain that you're creating videos on
Mm-hmm,
or writing on,
mm-hmm,
does it have a market or not?
of
If it has
course.
a market, suppose at the moment
Mm-hmm,
food and travel is at number one,
mm-hmm,
then comes reviews and podcasts. Podcast is slowly gaining momentum, and you would
mm-hmm,
definitely see it in your channel as well, the way
mm-hmm,
it grows.
right,
It will slowly gain the number one spot at the moment. And through the podcast, you can create the reels that are there, chotu, 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 wale.
right, right,
Because
right, right,
people
right.
have a very limited attention span at the
Right,
moment, and it's just
right,
into reels.
right,
Longer
right.
format, again, like Test cricket, is a
Of
little
course,
dying art,
of
but through the
course.
podcast, you can
Right,
create those
right,
reels that are there.
right, right.
So first is, checking the domain that is there,
Mm-hmm,
checking, whether you are actually passionate about it. Do you really want to do it?
mm-hmm,
Because it's a lot of work, and it's a
mm-hmm,
lot of consistent work that you have to
mm.
be committed
Of
to it
course,
every day.
of
If
course.
you are not, and if you think that, I will make a video once and then another
Mm,
2 months
mm,
later I'll make
mm.
another video, then you're not going to gain anything out of it. You're not serious
Right,
about it.
right. Consistency.
But at the same time, consistency, yeah, you have to be committed to it.
Mm,
Consistency, but at the same time, your quality of the video should not degrade. So there should
right.
be some takeaway for the viewers on
Mm,
whether your video is
mm-hmm,
beneficial or not. For example, if
mm-hmm,
I'm reviewing a film,
mm-hmm,
my YouTube channel is essentially about two things.
mm-hmm,
One is about whether I recommend the film or not.
mm-hmm.
I tell the
Okay.
world whether the film is good or not, which
Mm-hmm,
helps, the
mm-hmm.
viewer to check whether they want to eventually venture into it or not.
Right,
Second is the
right, right.
nostalgia factor. I've realized that people, and my subscriber base is essentially the Malayalam speaking audience that is there, right? So they are very, passionate about the films that they've already released back in the day,
Okay,
like say
okay.
from the 80s or from the 90s. So I work on the
Nice. Yeah.
nostalgia factor as well on that.
Right,
That,
right,
I am,
right,
you
right,
know, watching those
right.
films and I'm really, and you have to at the end of the day also be honest. Okay.
Of
You cannot
course,
just fake a reaction saying that,
of course.
you like a film, but deep down you say, oh no, what is this? So you have to be honest.
Right, right. Honesty,
And
definitely.
honesty is definitely a must because people nowadays can look
Mm,
through you, and
mm,
if you're
of
not honest,
course,
you'll
of
start losing
course, of
subscribers.
course.
So I think that's
You
one,
get your
yeah,
energy from being honest. If I'm not being
you have
honest
to.
on my show, then I think the
Yeah.
person listening to it will automatically get it, the vibe it
Yeah.
creates. Because
It creates a
positivity
vibe.
comes from honesty. And if you're not
You
honest,
can't fake
that
it for very
vibe, that
long.
aura, you cannot fake it for very long. True. That's so
You can't
true.
fake it for too long. That is there. So you have to be honest with it doesn't matter whether, the masses
Mm-hmm.
have liked a certain film and you
Mm-hmm.
haven't. And
Mm-hmm.
then just to be on their side, many people do
Right.
that.
Oh,
And that's why this reviews is
okay, okay. Right,
not
right,
a
right,
good, yeah. So many people, say which way is the sway,
right,
is it positive, is it
right,
negative? Let me
right,
sneak towards the positive
right,
side. But you
right.
have to have your own opinion at the end of the day. If you don't like
Mm-hmm.
it, you don't like it. If
Of course,
it's
of
such a bad
course.
film, but if you still like it, you still say you like it.
Yeah,
And that's what I have done. And
right.
people
That's
will troll
nice.
you. People on the internet will tear you apart, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to be thick-skinned basically. You do
Of
not,
course. Nice.
let that
So,
self down. Yeah.
like you said, that it's a difficult domain to work in, but still you are doing it full time. So, what is it that makes you get up every day and say that, yes, I have to do it. This is my passion and this is my profession. So, mixing your passion and profession, how does it feel every day?
Because I don't take it like a profession, it's like
Oh,
a thing that I really love. I
okay.
love watching films. I love writing about them. It's something that I really love. Love analyzing cinema. That is something that I
And
really
what
love. So
about,
if you're
at the
doing
end
that,
of the day, your profession is all about money. What about, you know, when we mix our
money will
passion and
follow.
profession?
Money will follow. Money will follow. And yeah, one more thing, if you're talking about that, to take a full-time leap, you need to have a little runway that is there at your end. You just can't blindly do it. If
Of
you
course,
can,
of
it's
course, of
great.
course, of
But I feel
course.
money will follow. If you're good at it, money will follow,
Hmm.
I feel
Right,
eventually.
right.
But if you're just doing it from the money point of view, thinking that, you are going to mint money, then, you aren't exactly committed to what you are
Exactly, exactly.
doing, initially in the first place, which
Right,
is
right.
what
You will
major
start
people do,
faking
they,
yourself.
it comes again. Then everything
Right,
see, it's like a trend. This is one domain that is there
right,
in cinema that
right.
a business trend will not work at all.
Mm-hmm,
Which is why Hindi film industry, why is it on
mm-hmm,
two sides, two sides
mm-hmm.
of the juncture is because
Right,
they're trying to replicate their success. If one thing is
right,
working in
right,
business, it is right.
right.
If you're doing any business,
Mm-hmm,
if one trend is working,
mm-hmm.
you follow the trend, you will more or less get the same thing. But what the
Okay.
corporates are doing, the mistake is that they're doing the same thing in cinema as well. If one thing is working, it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily that the same thing will work because
Exactly,
people don't think
exactly,
alike here.
exactly,
So the
exactly.
end
People don't,
product itself
yeah.
is different.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The way people
So
are enacting in a particular movie and the storyline, they cannot copy it completely, right? They just can
they
copy
cannot.
the exactly.
Even if the story is the same, and if there are two different people making it, they'll
Mm-hmm.
make a completely two separate films out of the same written
Of
material that is
course,
there.
of
That
course,
is how
of
cinema is.
course.
So if you're trying to
Right.
replicate the success, instead you should look for originality, look for, again, try to make it passionate.
Mm-hmm.
If you are passionate about, like how the Malayalam film industry, they do not care about the numbers. Why
Oh.
is the industry thriving? The Malayalam film industry, it's
Mm-hmm.
been the best year for them commercially this year,
Okay.
2024,
Nice.
more than
Nice.
any other industry in
Mm-hmm.
any parts of India.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best commercially as well. They have always
Okay.
been serving quality content, but commercially this year has
Mm-hmm.
been an absolutely staggering year, and that's because they are investing writers in stories. They do not reverse engineer a budget that, oh, this is
Right.
the budget, this
Right.
should be that. Then you're
Right.
decaying your
Right.
creative side.
Mm.
So it comes to that point,
Mm.
come back to your question that you have to be honest with yourself
Right.
and do not procrastinate. Just go for it. If I
Yeah.
was I would have been procrastinating. Oh, we are not perfect. Don't look for
Right.
perfection at the beginning. Take the step, and then, because then it will have an additional responsibility on you to be
Of
perfect
course.
while you're on the job.
Right.
So I
And
think that
I
is
feel,
very important.
yeah, I feel perfection is just an illusion. It's everyone has their own perspective. And
Yeah,
if you feel that you are good enough, then just go ahead. I would just
yeah,
like to say this. Just go ahead if you feel that you're good enough. Because other people might think it
absolutely.
is perfect, might think it is not. But for you, if it is good, then it is good.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to go for it. You have to take the plunge to know whether you can
Right.
swim or not, right? If you can't,
Nice.
if you're just thinking on the shore that whether I can or not, you don't know
Right.
whether you can or
Right.
not. So you take the
Right.
plunge. And you
That's
will
nice.
make mistakes. You will make mistakes. There will be a lot of lows, a lot of rejection that would be there, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of motivation challenges in the beginning. But remember, what is the first thing that drove you to that
Mm-hmm.
thing?
Right. Right.
If you
When you are
remember
at
that,
your low, right.
when you're at your low, think about what made you go for
Hmm.
it, and it will
Right.
automatically, motivate you. And there was a point, I would just share a small incident if we have the time, that
Yeah, we have few
initially
minutes. Yeah.
we were actually, banned by Google and all after one
Right.
month after launching our
Right.
site in
Okay. Oh,
2020. In
oh,
December, November we joined, December we got banned for, so
oh.
temporarily banned,
Okay. Okay.
because of certain things that we did
Hmm.
and we didn't know it was. So, and we learned from it. It was so easy to, to just say, "Ki,
Right.
oh man, we can just, let's
Mm-hmm.
just shut it down. Yeah, I can't
Mm-hmm.
take it." Was
But
one
you
thing, to
continued. Continue.
stick out there, stick out there.
Exactly.
So that is where
Right.
the concept of test match was there, just stick it out. It's a difficult
Right.
wicket. It's okay.
Exactly.
And it
Exactly.
was, mind you, the holiday season. December is the holiday season. We get
Right.
maximum
Right.
traction in
Right.
December.
Right.
And
Right.
that was the time we got banned.
That's
So
okay. But you
yeah,
still
so that
learn from your lows and you stayed consistent, like the test
we
match, you
have to be
stayed till the
consistent.
last
Yeah.
wicket. Yeah.
Let
And you,
everything else
yeah,
take care of itself. The
exactly.
technicalities you will learn over a period of time. That is not a problem. How to present yourself, how to
Right.
speak, how to write, how to. If you look back at my previous reviews that are there, even from 2020, I hate my reviews. I can't read them. So
Because,
bad.
we always try to compare
We've
ourselves with
evolved.
others, and that is when we
Yeah.
improve. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so basically it is that you just need to write at the end of the day is what you realize. Just make videos at the end of the day, no matter how bad or good they are at in the beginning. Slowly work on your quality, slowly work as long as you're honest, as long as you are passionate, committed to your thing, you are going to sail through. Choose a right domain at the beginning,
Right. Right.
and see what market value it is, see what value you're adding to your consumer,
Right.
and people are going to lap it up at the end of the day. And you will, eventually, move mountains which you thought that you will never be able to. And
Wow.
that is something that is true.
I've get so many catchy lines from you today, taking the plunge, moving the mountains. It's wonderful. And for it was wonderful talking to you today and get the
My pleasure.
insights, in the global cinema world, storytelling, how to be famous, how to be successful, how to stay there, just be there, and how to win perfectly. I love talking to you today, Farhad, and thank you
Thank
so
you for
much for
having
being
me.
my guest. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And don't look for being famous again. Just stick to your thing. Everything else will follow. Money,
Thank you.
fame, everything will follow.
That's
Thank you
that's
so much.
wonderful. Thank you so much for the wonderful advice. Thank you. Have a
Thank,
good day.
thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.